everyone, blessings and welcome. In this video, I will be discussing connections and relationships. When it comes to the area of relationships, it's very important that we all take the time and that we all pay attention to the way that we are being treated by those who say they love us, by those who say that they care about us. This is extremely important because mistreatment in any way can be extremely damaging and destructive to our spirit and our soul. And by us observing and paying attention to the way that we're being treated, we're actually protecting ourselves. We're protecting our soul. We're protecting our spirit. So that's why I'm saying it's important for us to pay attention to these things when it comes to the relationships in our lives, because I believe that people treat us according to how they feel about us. And it doesn't matter how many times they say that they love us, or they say that they care about us, or in a relationship, they're hot and then they're cold. They treat you nice one day and the next day they treat you like trash. So in relationships, we really want to look for consistency in behavior. In every relationship, there's going to be conflict. There might be arguments and disagreements, and that's normal. But what you want to look for is patterns and how you are consistently being treated, because that's really how people feel about you. Now, people can give you a lot of lip service, and people could tell you many things that sound good, and when they treat you poorly, they try to maybe make it up and maybe do something nice for you another day, or give you gifts, or tell you that they love you after they abused you or hit you or screamed at you or mistreated you in some other way. So it's just important for us to really and not just in our romantic relationships, but in all of our relationships in life, take the temperature. And when I say take the temperature, I mean basically also observe how you're feeling with that person. How does that person make you feel? Do you feel safe in a relationship? Do you feel like you're being cared for? Are you treated with kindness? How do you feel around this person? Do you feel anxious? Do you feel nervous? All of these things matter, because if you are being mistreated, then that's something that could basically be very, very destructive to you. So we really need to take the temperature and take the time to observe how we're being treated. As I said it earlier, people could talk a good game and, really masquerade and put on masks and really tell us what we want to hear. But at the end of the day, it's really about how you're being treated. The last thing I want to say, because this video is going to be pretty short, the last thing I want to say on this topic is that in order for us to really gauge how we're actually being treated and to make sure that our feelings are properly aligned, because some of us have been suffered abuse and been victims and been through things, and our ability to pick up on things has been damaged through maybe some horrific experiences that we've been through, or some trauma that we've been through. And some of us have grown up in maybe some dysfunctional environments and families, or maybe we're just used to some of us being mistreated, and we've been mistreated for so long that we think that that's normal, right? Or even if you didn't go through all of those things and didn't suffer as much in your life or been through certain types of abuses, it's still very, very important for us to, at the end of the day, really truly love ourselves. Because when we love ourselves and when we learn to love ourselves, if you're not at that point where you really feel like you love yourself, this is where the spiritual disciplines come in. This is why it's important for us to stay connected to God, because God is love. And when you experience true love and that divine, that pure love that comes from above, what God will do, he will increase the love inside of us, and also our self-love and our self-respect and our self-esteem and our self-image. And all of those things will begin to increase on the inside of us the more that we connect to God, the more that we pray, the more that we meditate, the more that we fast. All of these things, these disciplines and that connection to and our paying attention and developing in our spiritual walk, all of these things will help us to grow in love and develop in love and really learn to love ourselves in a healthy and meaningful way, even if we didn't get that love growing up from our parents, and even if we didn't get that love from the people who should have been there and who should have loved us. We are all deserving of love. But if it's not there, God will give that gift to you. And love is a gift. It's one of the gifts of the Spirit. So as we love ourselves, and that love increases and grows as we stay connected to God, then we'll be able to pick up in our everyday relationships, whether it be romantic relationships, relationships with friends, family, our associates, people around us. We'll be able to pick up what's not right. We'll be able to pick up true and real mistreatment. Sometimes these things, we're blinded to certain things because we've gotten a callous on our spirit. We've gotten a callous on our soul because of how we've been treated in the past. But as love does heal, so as we get more love inside of us, what God will begin to do, He will begin to heal our souls, and we'll be able to pick up on these things. And when somebody comes to you, I don't care how attractive they are, how nice they may treat you. They may love bomb you in the beginning and shower you with things, and then kind of like flip the switch and play games with you. You'll be able to pick up on that more easily, and you'll be like, no, this is not love. This isn't, I don't like how I'm feeling in this situation. And you won't be so desperate and longing for how you were treated in the beginning of the relationship, because that's the game that, especially the narcissists, that, some people play to get you hooked on them. But what you want to look for is that consistency. What you want to look for is that growth. And when I mean growth is that, let's say you're in a relationship, and in relationships, there will be disagreements. You're not going to always see eye to eye. There will be arguments. But at the end of the day, even when you do hurt each other, and it will happen when you're dealing with another human being, and we're human ourselves, and we do hurt people also, hopefully not purposely most of the time. But, these things happen because we're human beings. What you want to look for, even in those instances, is that the flexibility with that person, for them to be able to identify that they are hurting you, or what they said was hurtful to you, that they recognize that thing. And as they recognize that thing, that they are open and willing to communicate with you and to work through any difficulties you may be having in that relationship. They have to be open to that, because then there's going to be growth. And then actually through that experience, you'll be able to grow together if you're in a relationship with that person in love, even though you've been through something difficult. So you want to look out for their ability to identify that they're hurting you, or that there's a problem with themselves, or even with you, or in the relationship, and their willingness to change something that could be harmful to you. If they're not willing to do any of those things, you're in a situation where you're being mistreated and possibly abused. So that's what I wanted to share with you. I wanted to share with you, and I wanted you to out there to just remember, and just to know that really, how people are treating you out here is really how they feel about you. Now, there are some exceptions in the case of, maybe someone suffering, a loved one suffering, unfortunately, maybe from dementia. Maybe the person their brain is not right, or there's been some brain damage where their personality has completely changed. And that's something different, because they're going to be treating you differently because they're not themselves, right? So that's an extreme case. So if it's a case of maybe some untreated mental health issue, or some brain damage, or issue with the brain itself, then that's something different, and that's an extreme case. But other than that, for the most part, how a person treats you is how they feel about you. And if you're feeling on a consistent basis that they're caring for you, and care is a part of love, and that you feel safe in that relationship, and you feel like you can share, and that you be yourself, and you're not walking on eggshells, and that you can open up, then that's a healthy relationship. And that's the type of relationships that we want. And this video is just a reminder of that, and a reminder to you out there to love yourself, because it all starts with us. And the more we love ourselves and the greater connection that we have to God, then we'll be able to identify those toxic people and be able to stay away from being and avoid being mistreated if possible. So that's all I wanted to share with you in this video. Take care, God bless, and I will see you in the next one.